Yesterday, we looked at the mundane wrong view, where I guess nobody were able to fight it out with me. That's good. So we'll keep it. Okay. Now, today, we will take supra-mundane wrong view, and we'll see how that works. Okay. So, we'll take during the Buddha days, nothing about Islam or Christianity and all that. We'll take those traditions which were there, which are there, which will be there in the future as well. So now what Buddha covers there is also on supra-mundane, lokuttara, michhaditti. And hence his always the statement is that right view comes first. And that will help in samadhi and effort. Samma vayamo, samma sati, samma samadhi. Okay. And michha sati, michha vayamo, michha samadhi. Now, like yesterday, try to fight with me on what I'm going to say, and let's see if you can win the match. Yesterday's score was 0 and 1. Yesterday there were 15 people, today we have 13 people. So let's see if somebody can win over. First, we start with Vedanta. So when we take Vedanta, there is Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. Purva Mimamsa is Vedas, Rig, Sama, Yaju, which Buddha talks a lot in many suttas. And then Uttara Mimamsa is Vedanta, which has a tinge of Upanishad. Okay. In that, there are many things which comes. Swami Sivananda to Paramahamsa Yogananda to Vivekananda to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa to so many, and Ramana Maharshi and so many other people. Okay. So they come under that. Now, what's the view of these? We'll compare that with Kashmiri Shaivism and Shaivism also. We'll compare that with Kundalini. Then we'll compare that with Yoga Sutras. So today will be an interesting session. You need to know these things to see what's the difference between what Buddha says and what these says. And is there anything called as liberation? And if it yes, how do you achieve? So in all of these connotations, including I forgot to add Jain, Mahavira, Nigantanatha Putta. Okay. All of these traditions have one thing in common, and that is moksha. Okay. So, and in Pali it is vimukti, and in Sanskrit moksha. Basically, they both mean the same. Okay. Now, first you need to understand the philosophy or the metaphysics portion of it and see why they are good in their own good. Okay. We're not here to condemn any traditions or anything, but we are here to understand what Michhaditti Buddha talks. And for this reason only, I was not at all interested in taking this deeper essence of Mahachattarika Sutta, because I'm not too sure how many people sitting here or how many people listening later are open to understand other traditions, let alone accepting or rejecting it. Anyway, since we started this journey, you can't escape it. Okay. Now we'll take Vedanta. When we come to Vedanta, it is Brahman Satya Jagat Mithya Brahma Jagat Napparaha. What it means is that the eternal, that is, if I have two consciousness, one consciousness which is established, which has name and form as its source, there should be another consciousness which is unestablished, always present, and omnipresent, omnipotent, like that, and everlasting. If this consciousness is non lasting, there can't be a state, even Buddha agrees to this, that there's only one state, there should be other state as well. That means if there is something conditioned, there should be something unconditioned. Right? So all religion believes in that, including Judaism, Christianity, Islam, they all mean the same. If something is dying, then something should be there which is non-dying. If something is perishing, there should be something which is non-perishing. There can't be anything in this whole universe that it only perishes and there is no thing which is non-perishing. Sorry, perishing. It can't remain only on perishing. There should be something which is non-perishing as well. So this is the metaphysical aspect of all religions, including Buddha Dhamma. And Buddha calls it Sankata, some other might call it something else. Doesn't matter. If there is something which is non-existing, there should be something which is existing. So this is the premise on which we are starting our journey on supra-mundane, lokuttara. Okay. So what does Vedanta say? It talks about Advaita, non-dual. That means as long as duality exists, existence happens. When there is no dual, existence ceases. Something similar to what Buddha says. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of existence from a Vedantic perspective? Existence is something to do with the soul misunderstanding itself to be a separate entity, starts to stay apart and makes a choice of going away from its own nature. As an example, between gold and ornament, ornament considers itself to be gold, whereas it is made out of gold, but then it doesn't have an independent existence. Without gold, there can't be an ornament at all. This is a classic Vedantic way of explaining reality, which is perfectly true. Can a gold exist, or can an ornament exist without gold? The answer is no. In the same way, mud and pot. Can a pot exist irrespective of having a mud? No. So it is dependent. As ornament is dependent on gold, so also the pot is dependent on the mud, which is dependently originated, right? It has got originated from dependence. Depending upon the gold, ornament exists. Depending on the mud, the pot exists. So the pot has a temporary existence. It has existence, but it's temporary. And gold ornament has an existence, and that existence is again temporary. So which means all temporary existences are anitya, right? It's not nitya. But if something is anitya, there should be something which is nitya. You can't have something which is non-eternal. And Brahman is eternal. Because it's due to that cause, this is the effect. Due to Brahman, a being comes to be, taking energy from Brahman as its source. So, Vedanta also has dependent origination, but not in a way what Buddha explains. Nevertheless, it's dependent. It's dependent on Brahman. Brahman Satya, Jagat Mithya. So what Buddha saying Michha Ditti is Mithya. So Jagat Mithya, world is an illusion. Brahma Jivi na Paraha. There is no separation between a Jivi and a Brahman. They both mean the same. But due to misunderstanding, the Jivi thinks it has an independent existence. So it suffers. Once it understands that itself is Brahman, its true nature is Brahman, so it stops fighting with itself and hence get extinguished. So this is called as Vedanta Sara, the essence of Vedanta. Okay. Now, how do you practice it? What do you do with that? Is another story altogether, so we don't have to get there. But this is truth. As far as Vedanta goes, it's right. So nobody can dispute Vedantic claim that is there a consciousness which is unestablished? Even Buddha says, Vinyanam Anidassanam Anantam Sappatopabam. Same thing. So can you dispute it? No. What's there in everyone? Consciousness. Is there an individual consciousness? No. Is there a collective consciousness? No. Is there just a consciousness? Yes. Is that a witness? Yes. So when we use the Buddhist word pasana, is to see. So there is some witness to see. So same thing, maybe Pali, here some other language, doesn't matter, but that's a fact. So as a Vedantic person, what I'm trying to say is moksha is possible when the individual soul lets go of its individuality and merges with Brahman, which is eternal. Then there is nothing called suffering. Okay? Any confusion relating to Vedanta? Don't compare with the Buddha teachings. We are not yet there. I'm going to take this on Monday when we meet on the Michhaditti, mundane Michhaditti and supra-mundane Michhaditti. On Monday, not today. Today, if you have any questions on Vedanta, you can ask me, or on yoga, or on Tantra, or on Shaivism, or all of those which were there during the time of the Buddha. Yes, Ravindra.
Sir, what do you mean by unification of Brahman and Atman?
Like I just now said, gold versus ornament. ornament, understand it is made out of gold, and then it lets go of its foolishness to be an independent entity and merges with the gold. It surrenders, and hence it's part of gold. The Nibbana, what we are talking in Buddha teaching, he also uses a same imported word called as Kevali. In Sanskrit, it's called Kaivalya, which means completely liberated. So they all speak the same. Jain also speaks Kaivalya. Buddha says Kevali. In fact, there's a sutta by name Kevali Sutta. He talks about extinguishment. So when you stop fighting for your individuality, then you are in Kevali. So the basic premise is not to fight for separation, like what we are doing today. We're fighting for separation. I want to establish. I want to be there. So there's a bhava as a raga. So in Vedanta, it's called bhavatarana, circling around. So in Buddha also there is bhava, and Vedanta also calls it bhavatarana, going around. So the individual soul, Atman, will let go of its foolishness. And Jivi Jagat Ishvara, in that the Jagat is removed because it's mithya. Jivi lets go of itself and hence merges with Ishvara. That's the essence of Vedanta.
But this Brahman is misinterpreted by others that it is a creator or God or something like.
No, it is not. It's got nothing to do with creator. If you look at any Upanishad, it doesn't talk about Brahma is there as a creator, but Brahman is a something which is just a witness. It just stays. It is eternal, unchanging. Neither it has three attributes, or rather two attributes. One is karta, the other one is bhokta. So in Brahman, there is no doership, there is no enjoyership. Only in Atman have the doership and the enjoyership. So that's the clarity I can give. Yes, Nitin, go ahead.
Sir, in Vedanta, it's they say it's Sat Ananda. So
Correct.
could you please speak something about that?
Sat is truth. Chit is the essence of Brahman. Ananda is the blissful state. So Satchidananda Swarupam Sivoham Sivoham. What it means is that if you are unattached completely, the consciousness here called in as Atma becomes completely detached. So much so that the world stops existing. Then that is Sat, truth. Chit, the consciousness. Ananda, bliss. That reaches a blissful state where there is no dual. So it becomes Sivoham. In fact, Buddha also uses this word sometimes, Sivo. Sivo, he uses that word, Siva. It's not Shivo, it is Sivoham. So Siva or Shiva means auspicious, it's purest, the best. Become the best, purest.
So all these three are synonyms or
These
three
are the
different.
attributes of Brahman. If you say Aham Brahmasmi, as what Shankaracharya did, is to say, I have become Sivoham. I have lost my individual entity. There's nothing called as an individual. I am all.
So the awareness factor is present
Call
there.
it by whatever name, awareness, supreme consciousness, whatever English or any other language connotation, if you want to use, you can use. It is devoid of individuality.
The practice
We are not going into practice, we are not going into anything, we are looking at the other traditions.
alright. What I mean to say is, when it is individuality is merged with Brahman.
Individuality?
Individual soul merges with Brahman.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, does the soul knows
Does soul know
that
what?
it is all,
Yes.
that it is Brahman, or
Yes, it will come to know. There is process. There is, just like you are following Buddha teaching, if you follow what Vedanta says, you will get to a stage where you will know you have removed individuality forever.
okay? So the knowingness is there.
You should know, like when you get into Nibbana, you know you have gone into Nibbana.
Mhm.
But for the time you are in Nibbana, you will not know that is Nibbana. When you come out of it, you know you entered into Nibbana. In the same way, while you are left, while you let go of individual soul or consciousness, whatever you want to call that as, till the time you're back, there is no duality of existence. You and that cannot exist together. So if you are existing, that doesn't exist. If that is existing, you are not existing. And that's why it's called dual. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, Venugopal, go ahead. You're on mute.
Yeah, sir. Sir, during Buddha time, only three Vedas were there, sir.
Venugopal, don't ask some irrelevant question. We are talking on the supra-mundane thing. In fact, in the Tevijja Sutta and many suttas, Buddha says Rik, Yaju, Sama. Just take to that. Okay. At that time also Vedanta was there. It was there. Yoga was there. It was there. Tantra was there. It was there. Kundalini Shakti Yoga was there. It was there. Shaivism was there. It didn't call Shaivism. It was called Shiva Tantra. That was there. Adi Yogi was there. It was there. In fact, it was been there from all the Buddha's point of. In fact, Sumedha was a Veda Parangata. He knew all the three Vedas. So it's there, right? It's been there. So when we say Upanishad, it's there, right? So, and also Buddha's teachers, Alara Kalama, Uddaka Ramaputta, they've done, right? So why I'm talking about this is because that sutta you need to know there are four things. Two on mundane, two on supra-mundane. So what we have just now covered is, yesterday is mundane. Today we are covering supra-mundane. So within Vedanta, if you have any questions, please ask it. If you are talking about Buddha, today is not the day.
Sir, Vedanta leads to what level, sir?
Vedanta, I just now told,
Leads
right?
to what level?
I just now said, you let go of individuality, you're there. that's the reason I'm giving again and again disclaimer. I didn't wanted to take this subject because for this, every person should have a different kind of mindset. If somebody has a close mindset or a fixed mindset, can never get this. But since you asked me, I'm taking it. So you need to give me enough room to explain. Don't ask me those questions which are controversial. And don't ask me those questions, why did Buddha tell this and that? We will talk when we come to Buddha. Not now. Now, it's like yesterday, we spoke about worldly life. It's there, right? Whether it makes sense or doesn't make sense, it doesn't matter. It's there. Like I said yesterday, Venugopal, if you feel that we shouldn't have a worldly life, you shouldn't be using any of the gadgets, whatever you're wearing today. You shouldn't take a bus ride. Okay? You shouldn't have mobile phone also, because that's worldly. Everything you are using is worldly. It is mundane, right? We need to see in a different light. So let's journey it. So if you have any questions on Vedanta, I'll be more than happy to talk to you. But don't bring Buddha teachings into Vedanta, asking me comparative study and say that, oh, this is like this, I don't believe in this. No, nothing to believe or disbelieve. It's there. Does that make sense, Venugopal? Otherwise, this discussion will unnecessarily go somewhere else. Please restrict your questions only to Vedanta, only to yoga, only to Tantra, only to Shaivism. And I'm going to cover all of it. So don't feel that I will not be covering. I'll be covering all. And I'm not asking you to change your thoughts to anything. Be open. Look what it is. You'll come to see. But as far as liberation is concerned, it is there in Vedanta. It's called moksha. Clear? Thank you. Yes, Bobby.
Okay, sir, I understand. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Bobby, go ahead.
Yeah, Bilashi, when you say that the clay and the pot and the gold and the ornament, also like when you say that the letting go of individuality, is that state is what Vedanta says is mukti, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is liberation. It's
Yes.
Enlightenment is enlightenment.
Yes, because you are enlightened that there is no individual soul. There's nothing called as Atma. Atma gets liberated.
Yeah. So this in Atman and Paramatman is the same. That is what we understand.
Yes, absolutely. The duality is Atman thinks or feels. In Vedanta also, there are two aspects. It's called feeling and thinking, as opposed to perception, what Buddha uses. Feeling and thinking. So the ability of Atman and Brahman is to have a capability to think. Vicharanti. Vichara, thinking. It thinks and it feels that I am. So what happens in Vedanta is, that is Advaita Vedanta, is that due to prajna, wisdom, I lose this individuality as a person. So I give up, I surrender to the Almighty, which is Brahman.
And that is also not individual. It's not an individual. That is
who? Brahman is not an individual.
Brahman also is, yeah. So that individuality is gone.
Yes, the individuality is gone. So now I am all. So that brings me to a conclusion. Tattvam asi. You are that. So if somebody wants to know in one single line what is Vedanta, they should just say Tattvam asi. You are that. So if you take Ramana Maharshi, you take Vivekananda, then there are other things like in the case of Kriya Yoga and all of that, little bit of it, but major contributors to current and the recent past is Ramana Maharshi, who literally did what Vedanta says. He's one of the best saint you could ever find in the recent times, who got liberation as indicated in the Vedanta.
That means he's mukti, he's liberated, he's finished.
Yes, as far as Vedanta goes, yes.
He's finished. So he will not be reborn anywhere.
No. Because there is no energy left for an individual soul to reappear.
Yeah. So then in that way, what you're saying is that, in this Vedanta way also, we all can be liberated.
Yes. Yes, that's right. That's right.
Okay. Accept it.
Yeah. So that's called moksha.
So this moksha and nirvana are the same?
Don't talk about nirvana. No nirvana. Only moksha.
Now you're doing same.
That's the reason I'm carefully saying only moksha.
I want to ask that this nirvana word is used in Vedanta or only
Yes,
moksha is used?
nirvana is used in Vedanta. In fact, there is nirvana shataka. Right? So that is a very nice one. And since you asked me, I really wanted somebody to ask me. And since one of you have asked me, so I think I will recite it. It has exactly the same. Okay. And be good to understand. So we can enjoy. So what he says. Yeah, before that, let me finish with Nitin Shamrao. Yes, sir.
Sir, I've heard from a saint that a Vedantic saint, but then it's a choice if you want to come back. So how does it, where does it stand?
Vedanta has two aspects. One is Advaita Vedanta, then there is Dvaita Vedanta. If you are a Dvaita Vedantin, then you can come back. You can make a choice, just like what Mahayana says, that you can come back. Something similar to Mahayana. You remain as a Bodhisattva and then you come back.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so listen to what I recite and enjoy the recitation. Thanks, Ravindra, for asking me for nirvana. Maybe you will understand better. Mano buddhi hankara chittani naham na cha shrota jibhe na cha ghrana netre na cha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayuh chidanandarupam shivoham na cha prana sanghyo na vai panchavyayuh na va sapta dhatur na va panchakoshah na va pipani padam na chupsa पायु चिदानंदरूपम शिवोहम न मे द्वेष रागौ न मे लोभ मोहौ न मे वै मोदो न वै मत्सर्य भावः न धर्मो न चर्तो न कामो न मोक्षः चिदानंदरूपम शिवोहम न पुण्यम न पापम न सौख्यम न दुःखम न मंत्रो न तीर्थम न वेदा न यज्ञः अहम भोजनम नैव भोज्यम न भोक्ता चिदानंदरूपम शिवोहम न मे मृत्युशंका न मे तेज भेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्मः न बन्धुर्न मित्रं गुरुर्नैव शिष्यः चिदानंदरूपम शिवोहम अहम निर्विकल्पो निराकार रूपो विभुत वत्स Sarvatra sarvavidrindriyanam nacha sangatam naiva muktirnameyyah chidananda rupam shivoham shivoham. That's it. Couldn't understand anything, right? So let me tell you what he says.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So what it means is mano buddhi hankara chittani naham. Mano is mind, buddhi is intellect, ahankara is ego, chitta is the consciousness. Na aham, this is not mine. And what Buddha says is neso mama, neso ahamasmi, neso me atta. Right? So that's what he's saying. First line. Nacha shrota jivhe, nacha grana netre, nacha vyoma bhumir, natejo na vayu. So what does Buddha also says? Chakku anatta, sota anatta, ghana anatta, jivha anatta, etc. And vyoma bhumir natejo na vayu. I am not earth, I am not fire, air, and space. Chidananda Rupam Shivoham Shiv. I am just consciousness, bliss. Nacha prana sangyo na vai pancha vyahu. I am not the life energy prana, nor the five pancha vayu. I am not that. Nava sapta dhatur na pancha kosha. That is seven dhatus, what Ayurveda says, nor the five koshas. Navakpani padam na chopsat payuhu. I am not any of the body parts like mouth, hands. Chopsat payuhu. That the genital organs. Chidananda Rupam, Shivoham, Shivoham. Name Dvesha Ragau, Name Lobha Moho. So Buddha says Raga Dvesha, Raga Khayo, Mosakhayo, Mohakhayo, Dosakhayo. Nibbana. He says, Name Dvesha Rago, Name Lobha Moho, Name Vai Modo, Mado Naiva Matsarya Bhavaha. So I don't have Raga, Dvesha, Moha, or Lobha, Dvesha, Moha, Mada. That is, Mada means intoxication, Matsarya, stinginess. Na dharmo, na charto, na kamo, na moksha. That is the core foundation of Hindu way of looking is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So I'm not that. Chidananda Rupam, Shivoham, Shivoham. Na punyam, na papam, na saukyam, na dukkham. That means I'm beyond sukha and the dukkha. I'm beyond punya and papa. Na mantro, na tirtham, na veda, na yajnaha. That means I'm not having any mantra or tirtha. That means I'll not go to some religious places. Na veda, I don't agree in the Veda. Na yajnaha, I don't even perform any yajna. Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhoktaha. I am not the experience. Bhojya means I'm enjoyer. Naiva bhojyam. That means one who is going to have some experience. Not even the one who has experienced bhokta. I'm just Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. Name mrityu shankha, name teja bhedaha. I'm not bound by death and fear, nor not by the caste or creed. Me jati bhedaha, jati bheda. That means if I'm having any jati, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, I'm not that. Pita naiva me naiva mata na janmaha. I have no father, nor mother, not even birth. Na bandhur, na mitram, guruhu, naiva shishyaha. I'm not having a relative, nor a friend, nor a teacher, nor a student, nor a form. Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo. I'm devoid of duality, form, and is formless. I'm omnipresent. Vibhuta vacha sarvatra sarvendriyan sarvendriyanam. That means I'm there everywhere, pervading all senses. I exist everywhere. I'm omnipresent. Nacha sangatam naiva muktir nameyaha. I'm neither attached, nor free, nor limited. I'm just Chidananda Rupam, Shivoham, Shivoham. Okay, good one. That's all about Vedanta. There you go ahead.
Sorry, what is the source of this recitation?
Source Shankaracharya,
Shankaracharya.
Adi Shankaracharya. You can type out Adi Shankaracharya Nirvana Shataka, you'll get it. So that concludes the first topic of thing Vedanta. I don't want to take the Vedas because it's a huge one. So I thought I will take Vedanta because it's the essence of the Vedas. Ending of the Veda. In the end, the summary of all the Veda is Vedanta. So if you know Vedanta, you know the Veda. Question. Vedangopal, any question on this before I move to the next one? I'm done with Vedanta. No questions, anyone? Good. Yes, Vedangopal.
No question, sir.
No questions. Good. So now we come to the second one, yoga. It's from root word yuj, is to unite, join. Okay. All along, we are joining external to six senses. What if you understand you are not the six senses? You're beyond six senses. And that is yoga. Okay. And Patanjali is the person who took it from various sources and made it into sutra form, popularly known as Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Has four sections: Sadhana, Samadhi Pada, Sadhana Pada, Vibhuti Pada, Kaivalya Pada. Four pada, 4 feet. Just like what Buddha talks as Noble Eightfold Path, here it's called Ashtanga Yoga. 8-limbed practice. Starts with Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. These are the 8-limbed path. First one is Sila or Shila. It's called Yama. Okay. If you have good Yama, everything will follow. So Yama means rules. Rules of nature. Just follow the rule of nature. What? Ahimsa. That's the first rule. Second rule, Satya. Just the truth. Don't tell lies. That's the truth. Third one, Brahmacharya. If you have sexual, you will be reborn in human or any other being. If not, you will never be reborn. Brahmacharya. Fourth one, Asteya. Steya is to steal. Asteya is non-steal. Fifth one, Aparigraha. Parigraha means holding on. Aparigraha is letting it go. Okay? This is the first thing called Yama. And they have 5 niyamas. Shaucha, cleanliness, very clean. Bodily, mentally clean. No specks, no speck, no dirt. Okay. Santosha, always be contented. Whatever be the situation, whatever be the condition, consider it to be condition. That's it. Just a condition. It's not you. It's just a condition. Why react to a condition? Don't react. Do what has to be done. Santosha. So Shaucha, santosha, tapas, burn defilements. Swadhyaya, study of scripture. Ishvara pranidhana. Ishvara is not a Shiva or the idol worshipping thing. Ishvara is the formless essence, as in Jivi Jagat Ishvara. You take the Ishvara, which is Brahman, and exactly mimic what Brahman is. Come out of duality. Ishvara pranidhana. Just follow whatever it is. If I do that, yama niyama, I take an asana, sukhasana, whatever gives me comfort to the body and to the mind all the time. I take an asana. Then I will withdraw the senses from the sense objects, which is pranayama, not the holding on to the breath. That's not pranayama as per Patanjali. That is more from Hatha Yoga Pradipika. It's got nothing to do with Patanjali Yoga Sutra at all. Pranayama. Pratyahara. Don't give food to the senses. It's equivalent to Indriya Sambhara. Don't give food. No food. Dharana. Take an object. Do the dhyana on that object. Attain samadhi. In that you will have two samadhis. Savikalpa samadhi, which has also called as sabija samadhi. Just some taint. And nirbija, nirvikalpa samadhi is liberation. Moksha. Okay? A very short, concise, because if I go into detail, then we have to go into everything about Yoga Sutra. So I don't think so. This is the right moment for us to do so, and I don't know how far any one of you sitting here are interested in getting into such a deep depth of yoga. Yep. I'll skip it. Otherwise, I have to Samadhi Pada, Sadhana Pada, Kaivalya Pada, Vibhuti Pada and Kaivalya Pada. Samadhi Pada talks about 51 sutras which talks about how to attain Samadhi. And Sadhana Pada talks about how to generate the sadhana, the practice. Vibhuti Pada talks about how you can get psychic powers and what it will show up. And Kaivalya Pada talks about how you will get liberated. Buddha's word of Kevali is exactly what Kaivalya is. So they both mean the same. And following through the yoga practices of Patanjali, one can gain liberation, moksha. It's slightly different than Vedanta's way of doing it. In Vedanta, you do through the prajna, wisdom. Whereas in yoga, you will not only use wisdom, you also will go into samadhi by maintaining sila, which is morality, 5 yama, 5 niyama, 10 of them. So you get yama niyama as shila, samadhi as in samadhi, you get prajna, wisdom on what is real and what is unreal. So something similar to sila, samadhi, panya of the Buddha, they have shila, which is yama niyama, samadhi as samadhi, prajna, wisdom. In 4 pada, samadhi pada, sadhana pada, vibhuti pada, kaivalya pada. And this, my teacher taught me good about Vedanta and also taught me about many of aspect nuances of the, what I can say, Yoga Sutra. So I prostrate him for giving me such a great knowledge for 9 long years. Without him, I wouldn't have been knowing anything about it. So I'm taking a short break to pay my respects to him. Yes, Nitin.
So practice-wise, it's a different path altogether, I think.
Which one?
Yoga and Vedanta.
Yoga is different, Vedanta is
Or
different.
it can be intermingled.
No. The ultimate aim is liberation. So through yoga also you can get liberation, as in Vedanta. Vedanta is more about the pure knowledge or wisdom. See, you have Jnana Marga, you have Bhakti Marga. So what we are talking right now is Jnana Marga. Then you have Bhakti Vedanta. That's a different thing.
Okay.
As in ISKCON. ISKCON is Bhakti Vedanta.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, are you sure?
As per yoga, how does samadhi lead to moksha, or how is it?
Non-dual is gone in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi.
Okay, so you become one, just like that ornament become like a.
Yes, there's no ornament. There's only good.
So the real samadhi in yoga's context, it's the same as moksha. It's just.
It's moksha only. Kaivalya. It's moksha. Yes, Bobby.
So actually, this similar question that Ari was asked. It is samadhi, which is said in this Ashta like yoga, 8 limbs of Patanjali. So that is not just concentration. It is, you told some 4 things now, like samadhi.
Samadhi pada. So the first step, samadhi pada. Second step, sadhana pada. Third step, vibhuti pada. Fourth step, kaivalya pada. 4 steps.
So kaivalya pada is the wisdom, ultimate wisdom.
Yes, kaivalya pada is liberation or mukti or moksha.
So like people normally, like I was under the misunderstanding that the samadhi is only concentration.
No.
So it is a wisdom also.
Samadhi pada is the first one. Samadhi is not end to all. It is the means to an end.
So so that means it is liberation is happening in
Yes,
samadhi.
absolutely. To the extent whatever is said in Vedanta, same liberation through a different approach, where instead of this metaphysical aspect of Vedanta, you come to the root of it. As an example, what is yoga? Somebody were to ask this question. Yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. That's it. That's what yoga is. Movement of chitta has to be stopped. Stilled, mind stilled is yoga. Then what happens? That second question is there. That's the reason it's called sutra. If you pull one thread, another one will come. So the second thing would be tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Now you see the true nature. So then you ask, what does that mean? Then you get the next one. Then you ask, what does that mean? You get the next one, like that. Then the question comes, what is vritti? Vrittayaha, panchataya, klishta, aklishta. These are the 5 things. Panchataya, 5 types. Then they are klishta, they are holding on, they drag the consciousness to something, and also they liberate. So then they can ask, what does that mean? It means pramana. measurement. Pramana, viparya, vikalpa, nidra, smritayaha. So pramana as in measurement, then viparya. Paryaya means whatever is said is true. Viparya is wrongly imagined. Vikalpa, imagination. Smriti, memory. Okay. So pramana, viparya, vikalpa, nidra, sleepiness, and smriti. So then we go to each one of them and end in 51, and then you know, oh, this is what is meaning by samadhi. And when you get the samadhi, you get into sadhana. Make it yours. When you get sadhana, you get so you get vibhuti, which is psychic powers. Iddhipada. Then you get moksha. This kaivalya.
So, Vilashi, then is it in that state what a yogi or a Vedantini is understanding that there is no self and it's all impermanent?
Yes.
Okay. So that is a realization they have. There is no self and everything is changing.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not permitted to ask the Buddha Dhamma, so
No, that will be on Monday. We can then do it on Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Monday or Tuesday, whichever day. Once we finish this, yes, then it is open. Then we'll compare, fight, do, argument, and all of that. Before we move to the other two, that is mundane right view and supra-mundane right view. That will close 40. Yes, are you? Wait, are you? Before that, Nitin has been asking questions. Yes.
Sir, so Kaivalya of yoga and moksha of Vedanta is same or
See, sir, Kaivalya is a Sanskrit word for moksha, and a moksha is also a moksha.
okay?
Simple.
Okay, so that state is same. Both of them.
Absolutely. If you think it is not there in Vedanta and in yoga and in Kundalini and in Shiva Tantra and also in many places, then you are totally mistaken. It's there.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yes, sir, you.
I'm not trying to break the rule, but I'm just find it very interesting that both have 8 and both ends with samadhi, even though the moksha is above that, and that they both use a very similar structure too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the reason we need to know everything. Then we are open. Then we are good. Otherwise, we will become like a frog in a well and thinks, this is all what it is. We shouldn't be a frog in a well. We should be like a ocean. Let the rivers meet from anywhere, undisturbed.
So it looks like it's all different paths. And
Yes, it is.
yeah,
Yes,
and
it is.
also that this way of thinking will reduce your ego and conceit.
Yes, absolutely. Mana will go away.
Mana. Yeah.
Manati mana will not be there. In fact, if you recite Nirvana Shataka, keep on reciting, you will love it. It's whatever you have learned so far is there in that.
Yeah, when you explain that, I feel the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it is the same thing, what is said in the Nirvana Shataka or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. And hence I have the greatest regard and reverence to my teacher who didn't have a body, who taught me for 9 long years.
Then when you started, when you stopped that, the Vedanta, and you started teaching Buddha Dhamma, I think he left, right? So
No, he was there. Even when I was teaching Buddha Dhamma, he was there. I only told him, let me do it on my own. You are becoming a, I don't know whether I've learned Vedanta or not. And he was kept on saying to me that you learned really well. You picked up.
but he was not interested in what you are going to teach.
No, that is not his way. He see, everybody has their own way. So we can't say this way is the only way. That is wrong. Even Buddha says that is not the right way to see.
Yeah. So it's like Ramana Maharshi, who is already attained, and if you start telling about Buddha Dhamma, maybe he might not be very, because he already know what it is, right?
Yeah, you should read his book, 40 verses. Beautiful. Telling you, beautiful. You will go and prostrate to his feet if you were to understand what he says. Just 40 verses, not more. The entire thing he's put it in 40 verses. Okay. Beautiful.
In Tamil?
That is in Tamil, but now it is in Malayalam and all in Indian languages, and even in German and French and so many other languages. You can just download it. It's there in Malayalam. I'll put the 40 verses. You just say 40 verses Ramana Maharshi Malayalam. You'll get it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll search.
Yeah. Yes, Sanusha.
In Patanjali, was he, which era he was living, Vilasji? And he also has this Pratitta Samuppada, some sort of, he talks about Pratitta Samuppada or something?
No.
He doesn't?
Why does Patanjali talk about Pratitya Samutpada? Pratitya Samutpada, that word itself came in Mahayana after the Third Buddhist Council.
I did see that he has Ashtanga Yoga, and he also talks about Pratitta Samuppada to some extent. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but you can check it out.
No, I'm telling you, there's nothing called Pratitya Samutpada. In fact, Vedanta also has Pratitya Samutpada in that way, because it is conditioned. Just like gold turns into ornament, ornament is dependent on the gold. It's dependent origination. It is dependently originated. In the same way, by error of insight, Anitya is considered as Nitya, Dukkha is considered as Sukha, Anatma is considered as Atma, Shubha is considered as Ashubha. This is there in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Exactly what Buddha says. And he says, everything is dependently originated. So in a way, it is Pratitya Samutpada, but that word Pratitya Samutpada is not there in Patanjali Yoga Sutra as such, but it tends towards that, just like Vedanta tends towards that. Brahman Satya Jagat Mithya means the Jagat is dependent on Brahman. It has no independent entity. It has no independent state. It can't stay without Brahman. And hence it is Mithya. So you and I come under Jagat. So without the consciousness, which is eternal, you and I cannot exist. That's correct. If you think that is Pratisamutpada, yes, absolutely true.
So is that also Patanjali is the one who talk about Turiya stage, is it?
Yes, so the Vedanta, which takes from Upanishad, in Mandukya Upanishad, if you have gone through it, it has 4 stages, which is like this. It has Vaishvanara, Taijasa, Prajna, Turiya. These are the 4 states. So Vaishvanara is the waking state of the mind, which is in delusion. Just wakes up and then it sees delusion, just deluded. Thinking and pondering, vitakka vichara. of world being real. So that is the Vaishvanara. Taijasa is the dream state of existence when the dream is considered to be part of the life and you start existing like that as though it is real. Prajna is the third state wherein you get into a deep sleep state. Only the consciousness which is supposed to be onlooker exists, the remaining is dead. Turiya is waking sleep. Yoga Vasishtha explains it in a even more beautiful terms, starting with Subhecha, ending at Turiya in 7 stages. So this one is being Patanjali Yoga Sutra to some extent has references to Mandukya Upanishad and Mandukya Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad, then Katopanishad, then Taittiriya Upanishad.
Thank you, Vilasji.
Any questions on this? So we have covered 2. All good? Third one, we are coming into Tantra. It's a beautiful matlab, sorry for Hindi of matlab, meaning it's the cream of teachings. If you want to have just the cream, you can just take a spoon, take the cream, you don't have to look at the remainder. That is Tantra. Tantra means method. What method will you use? So, there are different traditions, different approaches to Tantra, but we're talking about with this method, how do I fasten? How do I go faster into liberation? Okay. In that, the most amazing is about Shiva and Parvati. Okay. In fact, Osho has done a beautiful thing of translating 112 sutras. Okay. And if you were to get that book, you will understand the whole picture of what has to be done in each stages. And Shiva keeps on explaining to Parvati on different what we can say, different techniques. And that would be an interesting read if somebody would like to have that. That's called Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Yep. Plus 112 steps, 112 techniques, so to say. And first 9 represents what Buddha is talking about, Anapanasati, and Shiva tells Parvati, this is most effective, easy to liberation. So that's a third one, which will take you to moksha directly. The Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Before I go forward, so we need to get into what Michcha Ditti Buddha is talking about in the 10 steps, right? Attangika Magga is 2 Magga. So Samma Ditti or Ditti. The Ditti is what he is talking about. So in liberation also, there is a Ditti. Then there is Sankappo. There is Vacha. there is kammanto, there is ajivo, there is vayamo, there is sati, there is samadhi, there is panya, there is vimukti. You shouldn't forget this. So when we meet up on Monday, or whenever we take the Buddha teachings and look at what was miccha in the first one and what is the miccha in the second one. Is it gross miccha or subtle miccha? That's what we need to see. Okay. And then we will get to understand the subtlety between the traditions, as in Vedanta, etc., with what Buddha says. Just a slight, what I can say, tip to you is it's so subtle that you need to know these other traditions to a good extent, and you should have worked out on it to see the difference. Otherwise, you have to rely on what I say, unless you try it yourself. Okay. Else it becomes pretty difficult for you to understand where the difference is. From a worldly perspective, you might see the difference when we compare between the miccha ditti of worldly existence versus samma ditti of worldly existence. Punya bhagiya. Whereas when it comes to lokuttara jnana, it's pretty subtle. It's so subtle, you can't even know what we are talking about because it looks the same. It's not, it is deceptive. So don't think that, Buddha removed a deception. No, there's nothing to be deceived about. There is moksha. There is. So, is this moksha equivalent to nirvana or nibbana? That's a different issue. And you would see references, and then you would see the techniques. Indeed, take there. It leads there. So, our lens, when we do it, should be clean, not having a tinge of comparison, not even having a tinge of falling on to one side. And then we can understand what Buddha is trying to say there. Otherwise, there would be an attachment to Buddha teachings to an extent that we start to think, it's good to be a Buddhist. And that's dangerous for liberation because you are not Buddhist. In fact, you are nothing. There's no thing. So, a word of caution that you should not get associated with anything. It's just like you've gone on a shopping and there's very enticing items and you are not interested in any one of them. But you are doing everything, but you are not interested in bringing it home, either as a memory or as a thing you want to keep it in your shelf. No. A word of caution, because what is going to happen is that if we are leaning on to Buddha Dhamma, we start feeling very happy. So that creates raga, and that develops more dvesha, for others and gets into moha. Nothing like that. No raga, dvesha, moha. Raga khayo, dosa khayo, moha khayo, nibbana. So be very careful that you don't get into these three. When we start comparing what Buddha says to this, and I'm not covering entirety of Tantra because it's humanly impossible for me to cover all the 112 techniques, because each one has to be tried for a minimum period of 6 months to agree or disagree. 112 into 6 months with dedication, then you're given a try to the technique.
I think now we don't have lifespan remaining for that.
Exactly. So I would just make a understanding of it and leave it there, because it works. It works wonder. Those of you who still want to read a huge of it can download from freely from internet. Osho has done a good job. Vigyan Bhairava Tantra in 2 volumes. Volume 1 talks about 84, I think 74 techniques, and the remaining is in volume 2. Very nicely explained, lucid writing of Rajneesh Osho. He's the only person who has done a good job, I would say, on explaining Tantra. Nobody comes near Osho in this. So if somebody is interested, very interested, can download Vigyan Bhairava Tantra. And that's a conversation between Shiva and Parvati. That's a very nice one. So that's a Shiva Shakti. So then you will get to know about Shakti, Chalana, Kriya, and all that, what Sadhguru talks about, and then the Shambhavi Mudra and all of that, how it transforms, how you change the energies. Then we come into Kundalini. Okay. Kundalini is something you will experience while doing meditation. Buddha doesn't specifically talk about that because it is an attachment to those energies. But irrespective of it, Kundalini Jagran, meaning when it arrives from the base of spine to the top of the head, the Shakti merges with Shiva at the crown. And at that, it turns non-dual and becomes moksha, fully enlightened. And there is a process to do so, how to energize and what exercises or what yogic postures you need to take. And many of it is explained in Hatha Yoga Pradipika. And if you're following Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, that helps in getting the Kundalini. Yep. So this is there. But it's not explained in detail in anywhere by the Buddha. Okay. But people experience them. They don't know what it is. They might get confused about these energies. Okay. Nothing anybody can do. But those people who knows Kundalini, they know that is Kundalini which is working. It works wonder. And then, since it has moksha as a sadhana, you will also see there is liberation in that. I'm talking from moksha perspective. Whether moksha is called nirvana or not, and all of that we will do later, not even on Monday. First, you need to understand these deeper nuances in each one of them, and then you are doing justice to them, and then you compare with what Buddha says. If by chance you don't have any input towards this, you don't even know what it is, there's no point in debating over it. So what I would do is, on Monday, I'll check with you how much knowledge you have. If you don't have, we'll not invest any time on that. I will tell how Buddha solved this. That's it. Over. If any one of you have deeper insights into these, makes sense. Otherwise, we'll skip it. There's no point in wasting our time and debating why this is good and that is good. And we are not here to make something good and something bad. We are here to understand what is this Maha Chattarisika Sutta. Because it's Maha, big, 40. That's what we are trying to see. What should be developed and what should not be developed. Ultimately, that's all what it is, both in Lokuttara, both in Lokiya, worldly, and Lokuttara, apart from this world. So we covered Vedanta, we covered Yoga, we covered Tantra. To a little bit I covered Tantra because even Buddhism, Tibetan, is Tantric. They have the same thing as Vigyan Bhairava Tantra, incorporated into Buddha's teaching to make it faster. It's a faster vehicle. That's the reason it's called Vajrayana. Yep. Because you get very fast. Like Dalai Lama and all of these, Panchen Lama, Dalai Lama, and all lamas, and all of that, they follow this tradition. So they invoke gods, they invoke deities, and they help them in their progress. So they have added Buddha Dhamma into the Tantra to make it very fast. What would take years together will take hardly a few days to months. Yes, Saryu.
Yeah, I think you mentioned there's 112 tantras. So how much of these are integrated into the Vajrayana? And
Many.
just took
Many of them.
Took the whole thing.
Not the whole thing, many of them. You will see. So for that, you need to initiate yourself in the Tibetan. You, it's a jolly ride. You know what? Since my previous birth is in Tibetan, I know what I'm talking. So it's a different thing. Yes, Ariu, go ahead.
Yeah, and I was reminded even in the Visuddhimagga, there's a lot of kamatanas. There are many overlaps.
Yes. So basically, we need to be aware. So the Vajrayana today, which is part of Mahayana, is having Tantra. The same Tantra. There's nothing different. Tantra is only one. There's no many Tantras. So you use sexual energy, which is going waste, into spiritual energy, so to say. So from animalistic to spiritualistic. That's what Tantra will do. Any questions, anyone, on Vajrayana or on Tantra?
Bilashi, this Tantra Yoga, like what you said now, the Tibetan Buddhism, which is, you told it is very fast. And so if it is fast, that makes sense that we do that.
Yeah, we can do it. That's you can get into the Tibetan. That's the reason the number of followers of Tibetan are more than anyone.
But you said it will, like, whatever we take years, it will take in few days. So
yeah, it does.
But I remember you said once that you were following Tibetan, and then you felt that is then I came to
for the last 10 years, from 2000 to 2010, I followed. Maybe I didn't have a teacher, right? So you have to go and join a teacher in Tibet or in Ladakh or in Sikkim or in Bhutan somewhere and start working. They have 20 years for samatha and then vipassana. So there's a different way of climbing. It does the same thing, but in a different way. You have mantras and invoking deities and then energizing your body, cleansing your body and mind and all of that, and then you start seeing.
So when you say invoking deities means, is that these deities have the knowledge of liberation and everything?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Like Tara, and there are a lot of mandalas. So you have to develop the mandalas, and then you have to invoke the energy. Like what I and Ashwin are going to do when we are going on 5th of September. We're going to I have selected some monasteries which has great energies, good energy centers. So we're going to tap into that energy. I have the mandalas. So I'm going to show that to Ashwin, how this whole thing works. So before I come to Australia, back, Bobby, I would have had a lot of insights to it. And my previous life being a Tibetan or Vajrayani, many things will come. Yeah, I don't want to answer this right now, Rajan, is that you are going one-sided. I don't want any answers which are one-sided. You can ask me any question on any one of these, what we just now said, but shouldn't be one-sided. You have no idea on Tibetan. Yes, Harry.
I was trying to say that, but you did not have a full life memory of you as a Tibetan monk. You got only partial. That's why you cannot be a Tibetan teacher of sort. Otherwise, you could have just.
I could have.
Tell us to do this and that.
I could have. But I have affinity towards it. When I go there, it comes. Yes.
I feel like if you put your mind to it, really, you can get it too.
Yes, I'm going to. Yes, it does work that way. Yes, Nitin, go ahead.
Well, sir, I had attended this Canberra workshop. It was a very short workshop, actually, of about 3-4 hours. And there were techniques, breathing techniques, like horseshoe shape, watching breath as a horseshoe shape. So, does it similar to Anapana? I mean to say, it's just another way of looking at the breath, or how it is?
So it's a different technique altogether. See, the ultimate aim is what? You need to have body, mind, connect, cut off, so that only energies exist. Whether you are doing it Anapana way or you do whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Anapana is only that. You're cutting off the body and mind and then just energy. So when Goenka technique somebody does and he gets into that kalapa, it means that only, it's just energies, nothing else. So he's lost the body and is disconnected from the mind. Right? So we can use many technique like Goenka technique, or we can take some other technique. This is another technique. So we need to know the objective of doing it. Objective is just energy, nothing else. Right?
From Sthula to Sukshma, we can say.
Yes. From Sthula, that is gross, to subtle, to the subtlest.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Yes, Anusha, go ahead.
And I don't know whether I heard, Vilasji, in Vedanta, there is a thing called like a guru shishyan, or something called pranahuti or shaktipat. Um, do you know anything about that?
I just now answer to that. Shaktipat is part of the Shiva Tantra or the Shiva, wherein you have Shiva and Shakti. Shakti as in Parvati and Shiva as in the pure energy form. So Shakti Pata means wherein you invoke the sleeping Kundalini Shakti to go up the spine.
So Guru does that to the disciple, is it?
Yes. You
Like
require, for everything, including Buddha Dhamma, you require someone. Right? And Buddha calls it as Kalyana Mitra. Right? So there is no thing in this world where you can do it yourself. Especially these energy movements, you require some qualified person to initiate you into that. That is called as Guru Shishya Parampara. That's like what Goenka says. Ours is Guru Shishya Parampara. From Buddha came to Ledi Sayadaw, from Ledi Sayadaw came to Ubakin, from Ubakin to Goenka, so from Goenka to the teacher. So we are having a very close bond between the teacher and the student. Right, Anusha?
okay, yeah, I saw some biography of Vivekananda where his teacher basically touched his head
Forehead.
or something.
Yeah, forehead.
Then he went into sort of a trance-like experience.
Not only that, his teacher, that is Ramkrishna Paramahamsa, Totapuri is one person, one guru. He just comes to visit Ramakrishna because he's deluded with Kali. So he's able to see Kali, manifest Kali, and he's giving all the food and this and that to Kali. He's completely lost in Kali due to bhakti. So then Totapuri comes and tells him, Ramakrishna, what you're doing is extreme. I'll show you the Vedantic path. So he touches his forehead and Ramakrishna enters into a deep samadhi for 3 days and 3 nights. He's completely into nirvikalpa samadhi. And then he understands what Totapuri was saying. And when Narendra, that is before becoming Vivekananda, comes and asks the same question to Ramakrishna, he just touches him and rest is history.
So is there a path in Vedanta, Vilasji, that from the guru impart the knowledge to the disciple?
Always. Like the guru whom I had for 9 years, he imparted to this Shishya who's sitting in front of you. Without him, I wouldn't have had any experiences at all in Vedanta or in yoga like that.
So, Vilashi, so is it that when he touches, is it a psychic power or? Because
Yes,
you also told many times that somebody has this feeling of if you by hugging something will happen. That is, it is not like that. Maybe I think you tried to hug you and always tell the story, right? So is it something similar or?
Not like that. You see, that teacher, like in the case of Ramakrishna, he has gone so deeper, so ahead. Like in the case of Ramana Maharshi, he didn't touch anyone. He didn't allow anyone to be touched. He used to just sit silent. He never used to speak also. Forget about talking anything. Each teacher have their own way of dealing with it.
I think also touches, I think,
yes.
The forehead.
Yes. So some teachers would love to transmit because the body can be used for transmitting energies. So those people who are into transmission, in fact, Aryu had joined some transmission teachers, and Chirag, who is there in this call. So they both used to do transmission. So it's just about transmission. It works.
So that is a specialty of the teacher, particular
Yes,
teacher.
absolutely. Because any other teacher has energy, he can transmit.
So basically, Vilasji, what it means in Vedanta, with a capable teacher, the teacher can actually invoke the enlightenment process to the Shishya.
But not get enlightenment, he can put him there, just like Buddha talking something and that guy say, oh, now I understand, something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yes, Aryu, let me finish with Veena and then you can ask. Yes, Veena.
Who was your teacher, sir, before?
That's a long story. So I had some teacher. You can just take, I had some teacher who didn't have a body. Meaning he was not human, meaning he didn't have a human body. I have never seen him, but I have only heard him. Yes, yes, sir, you go ahead and then I will talk to Nitin.
Yeah, I was just going to say when Bobby was asking, I think I read about Ramana Maharshi and he was staring a lot with the eyes.
Yeah, he used to converse with the eyes. That's true. Yeah. Like what I can read a person through the eyes and something similar, but far better than what I do.
Yeah, I think I also heard that, like Nitya Chaitanya Yedi, you heard of Yedi?
Yes.
Yeah, he went to Ramana Maharshi and, and he was having some food with him. He started and he was looking at him. And he said that, for many days or couple of, he was in full bliss, it seems.
Yeah, samadhi. He got into samadhi. That's true. Yes, Nitin, go ahead.
So, sir, this Shaktipata or the touch-based energy transfer, is it a temporary phase just to give a glimpse of what it is and then the person walks the path, or
can you come on video if you don't mind?
All right, that's so much. Actually, before I was not in a good place. So, yes. Permission for camera was denied.
Okay, no problem. Leave it. So there's nothing called temporary or permanent or anything. These transmission help in unearthing many of the obstacles for that student. So the teacher knows when to touch, the teacher knows when not to touch.
Okay, okay, please.
And since I think some of you have asked this question for touching, it's very simple. Body is a yantra, vehicle, and it has 5 elements. And energy is holding the 5 elements. So what happens? Supposing in the case of Aryu, I see that, oh, he's stuck here. He's not able to let go of the view. What I do is, I will see him through his eyes, blank out that state of his mind and insert my thought into his. So it will start to manifest. That's what Ramana Maharshi used to do. Or I will tell him, and you come here. And he comes. And tightly hug him and press here in the center And then he has a rude shock of the body vibrating a lot. And after that, I'll just leave him. After a few hours, many of his wrong views are removed because those chitta don't arise. So it depends on that teacher, what he wants to do with his student. For that, the student should be always be there with the teacher. So, Anusha, the thing of teacher and student relationship is that the student is ready to serve the teacher in whatever capacity. Like what Ajahn Chah, you take Ajahn Mun and Ajahn Chah. Ajahn Chah was completely surrendered to Ajahn Mun. And all the students of Ajahn Chah, they were completely given up into Ajahn Chah. So if somebody has something like that, a true surrender, and then this works. If you read Ajahn Chah's exposition on Ajahn Mun, you will come to know the amount of thing he has done to serve his teacher. And Ajahn Mun has done so much of challenging, given him so much of challenging assignment to test the strength of Ajahn Chah. Yes. Yes,
I think Vilashi, you
yes, Bobby.
Are you sure you are talking about Ajahn Chah? Because I heard he only stayed 3 days with Ajahn Mun.
Yeah, in that, if you in the same book, what mind that still flowing water. Still flowing water. There is one section. In fact, there's another book. When you go to Dhammagiri, you take that book about Ajahn Mun. He stayed for 3 days, wherein he gave him a lot of things to do. And then he had gone there to find out about this Patimokha, right?
Yeah, because he read Vishuddhimagga, and he couldn't go anywhere.
Yes. You know? So then he said, you go with 2 things. What is Hiri and Ottappa.
Yeah, correct. Yes, same thing.
So in one of that section, he says how much of he learned from looking at Ajahn Mun. So he would have given him certain assignments, and then he left. That's true.
Yeah.
But if you look, he talks more about Ajahn Mun.
Yeah, but of course he had a very profound experience, it seems.
Yes.
But like other of his disciples, he stayed very short time.
Yes, absolutely. He didn't stay for long because he was in that Dutanga way of doing. So he
Mahayut.
Yeah, Mahayut. So he didn't do that. But in those 3 days, there are a lot of references. That not in that one single book. There are when I was reading about him, there are many quotes. So I am making it up from all of that, not in that still flowing water.
Yeah. Among the modern, people, Ajahn Mahabua stayed with them the most.
Yes, Ajahn Mahabua. But what I want to say is that since Anusha asked this question between teacher and student, they will surrender. That's what I just wanted to say.
I totally agree with that. Because when you surrender, then things becomes very easy.
Yeah, if you have your own ego sense and then you don't accept what the teacher says, and that becomes a problem.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that we can ask questions and all this.
You can ask questions, right? Absolutely fair. But in these traditions, like Ajahn tradition or Burmese tradition or some other tradition, then you don't have a way to ask something, even if you don't like it. Like if you look at Goenka, he says that Ubakin shouted on his friend and he was feeling, why is he doing that? And then later he told him why he did. So during that phase, right, he would get into confusion. Why is my teacher like this? So he has to rely on whatever his teacher is doing. So all traditions work the same. This Vedanta or this or that, or even Buddhist traditions, they all work the same. If you don't want like that, then you be independent. But otherwise, if let's say I were to take a monastic order Bobby, I will be starting from Samanera. Even though I have so much of knowledge, I have to start from Samanera and grow.
Yeah. But the wisdom will be there, right? Samaneras also get enlightened.
Yes, but then it is up to the teacher to say whether you're enlightened or not. So there's a lot of things which go in that, a lot of struggle. And you have to do what they say you to do. You can't do what you want to do. You have to agree. If you have selected a teacher, you have to agree with the teacher. There's nothing like I don't disagree or I don't agree to disagree, something like that. Nothing.
Yeah.
You have to agree with the teacher. You have to be fully in line with your teacher. You have given up.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to follow the discipline, tradition,
Yes.
all the rituals and everything, even if you don't like it.
Yes, absolutely. There's nothing like, oh, you know what, I like most of it, but I don't like this of it. Nothing.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah. I know some monks, when they stay there, they don't like some part of it, and they were very not happy with that, but still they have to follow it.
They have to follow. There's nothing like going back.
Yeah. After 5 years, they can go.
5 years. So they have given a complete themselves for 5 years and it didn't work, so they moved out. That's okay, but they have to do. Yes, Anusha, go ahead.
Sorry, Vilasji, I'm asking lots of questions.
No, it's okay. Why you should be sorry? I should be sorry for answering so many questions. Go ahead.
So basically, it Vedanta. So like what I've heard so far is that the teacher basically can impart enlightenment. Like whereas in Buddhism it says that teacher only shows the way, you have to do all the sadhana and the practice and all that, and you have to walk the path. And
no, even in Vedanta,
in some Vedanta, they can actually, does the guru sort of give enlightenment to the shishya?
No. There is nothing like that. The guru will remove the obstacles on the path. Sometimes physical, sometimes by his verbal, sometimes by teaching and all of that. But he can't give you any enlightenment or anything like that. No.
So he can't raise the Shishyans, disciples, Kundalini or something like that.
No. That the Kundalini has got Kundalini will start, but what he does with that, it is up to him.
Okay. See, this Paramahansa Yogananda apparently in that book, autobiography, I heard that, that he was totally given liberation by his teacher, Yukta. Please correct me, I'm not sure.
If you read that autobiography of a yogi again, he says that his teacher helped him in that direction.
It's not a mystical sort of only.
It is a mystical. See, it is what is mystical? That somebody touches you and you go in a trance is mystical. But then Paramahamsa Yogananda had to work out himself using his teachers. So Yukteswar Giri is one teacher. Right? So it is his teacher, is Yukteswar Giri. And they are followers of Babaji. So he is a biggest Kriya Yogi. He is still alive, is what people say. And many movie actors in India are his disciples. So
it looks like in Buddhism you have to do a lot of things on your own, and in Vedanta, as long as you have much surrender to the Guru, it's the path is easy, looks like.
Not Vedanta, it is more to do with Tantra. What we are talking is Tantra. We are not talking Vedanta. Vedanta doesn't talk about anything of this. And overall shell they have put Vedanta, but what you and I are talking right now is Tantra method.
Oh.
The energy in Chinese Qi, okay, or Qigong is another method in Chinese which mimics what we are talking right now. So you can use prana or something to invoke in that person, etc. The Kundalini is also part of the same thing. It's a method, Tantra. So there you require Guru much more than anywhere else. Vedanta, you require Guru to teach you on Vedanta, whereas in other things, what we are just now speaking, you require a good qualified Guru who can bring you to that state. Even in the Tibetan, Vajrayana, you require a most proficient Guru. And the best Guru so far today who is recognized is Dalai Lama. He has to initiate, otherwise no energies will flow. The moment he smiles or he touches you, you'll see the difference in you.
Okay, so with that initiation, only the enlightenment process starts.
Exactly.
Okay.
Even you see the Theravada tradition, when you go to Sri Lanka, they will initiate, right? And then only everything starts.
But it's not like a mystical way.
Mystical or mystical, it is you have to get initiated or you have to get into all of that, right? So the mystical part comes because we don't know how it works, and hence we call it as mysticism, because we don't know what it is. If we were to know it, you will no longer call it as mystic. Anyway, yes, Sharyu.
Yeah, I was just thinking, even in the Dhamma, like there's so many times these people become sotapanna upon hearing, and these are no different than transmission, just in a different form.
Absolutely.
You make sotapanna almost, right? You're kind of listening.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The Guru transmitted and the Shishya received it. As simple as that. Very true. And since in Buddha Shasana it is happening and we believe in Buddha, we don't see like that. That's the reason I was telling that to understand this, you need to be so open, no closed door. I mean, giving that disclaimer or all of that because of this. You need to be very clear. Meaning, we should be open-minded. Yeah, there would be. And you're right, Ariu. How can that work? You tell me. Buddha talks and the person gets it. Isn't it transmission? It is. Right? That's how it is. You mean to say that he didn't work out? That person who came to talk to Buddha? Like in the case of Bahiya. Take Bahiya as an example. Is he a Buddhist? Has he got anything to do with Buddha? Nothing. He just comes. He's doing whatever he's doing. And he comes there. And Buddha sees him. And he feels this guy is ready now. So he says, Bahiya, do this. And before the cow kills him, he's an arhat. Did Bahiya start at the age of 7 or 8 or whatever, joined Buddha Dhamma, had one teacher, and from him he learned, and etc., till his age of 80? Bahiya died at 80. He was an old man and he was thinking he is liberated. And he was only said, I can't say that, why don't you go and talk to Buddha and he will tell you. And Buddha never commented whether you are liberated or not liberated. He just said, Bahiya, this is what you need to do. And he understood. You see this? He understood. And he was not a Buddhist. If somebody argues on that, he was a Buddhist, I think he should read properly or understand it properly. That is no Buddhist. He understood. Objective is what? You have to come out of suffering. Okay, he had done so much. Only a little bit was there. Buddha helped in removing it. Became an arhat. Done. Over. And Buddha said to his disciples, they asked him, what happened to Bahya? They said, Bahya became an arhat. He didn't trouble me, became an arhat. So, Anusha, does that answer your question? It is exactly what Aryu said. Isn't
Yes.
that a transmission?
Yes, I think so. That may be the reason, Vilasji, so many people became Sotapanna when Buddha was living, and so many people now listening to Deshana, but very few get Sotapanna on the listening, right?
Yes, because it doesn't penetrate. So the rule of the game is a Sotapanna can make another Sotapanna. If the person himself is not a Sotapanna, he can't make another person Sotapanna. In the same way, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arhat. So if we have someone who is an Arhat, he can make the other three. If you have somebody Anagami, he can make the other three. If somebody is a Sakadagami, he can make other two, and this is a Sotapanna, he can only make another one.
Yes, I agree, Vilasji. Something that we cannot also see. Something is happening behind the screen as well, when the disciple is listening to the Dhamma.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, whatever I'm talking, some people might listen, some people might not listen, some people might understand, some people might wish to misunderstand, some people would like to completely misunderstand. So we can't do anything. The same words, but it can go in a different way based upon their mental conditions. So let's just say they come to my home. Now they are face to face with me. I can look at their eyes and see, this person requires this. So I can only transmit that. It works. And that's it. And if he, Vilasji, I got it. Okay, that's it. And he leaves. And somebody can say, Vilas transmitted or Vilas did this or that. It doesn't matter. He understood. Okay, so should we end? It's 10:30. We are done 2 hours. Beautiful. Any questions? Last question, first question, other questions? So this is where we end our journey into the different traditions. They were like this or not is secondary, but these things existed. And many people who visited Buddha were knowing all of many of these. And Buddha's direct questioning, finding out, made them come to the other side of it, which will take it on Monday. So at present, I've covered on Vedanta, Yoga, Tantra, Kundalini, and all of that. And when I left, Shakti also is covered anyway. Think calm. So all have liberation in their own sense. Moksha. Now the question comes, is Nibbana, Nirvana equals moksha of this and that? Will Monday. Not today. Okay. So then we will conclude this today and take up the third quadrant, which is Sammaditthi, is Lokiya. Then we come to the Lokuttara. We'll finish that. Then we will do a revisit of how it each nullifies. The Lokuttara Jnana nullifies the Lokiya Jnana. Then only what remains is Lokuttara. Yes, Saryu.
Do you give us answer on how to beat that person who had the Michaditi on the worldly view the other day?
Monday,
Which
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whichever day, because I had to
answer.
decimate all of these two things, right? Whatever I just now said, and then whatever was spoken on yesterday, where you couldn't fight. And even now, you can't fight with me on Vedanta or this or that. And I would say, try it out and then tell me, which you don't have time to do so. Either you can accept it or reject it. It's not my problem. But at least I had a teacher who could teach me. So I wanted to put a board, I love my teacher. I've never found any other teacher so good than him on this side of. And his last words were, I know you will do good and you're following something. I'm not coming in your path, but I just wanted to gift you this.
We too are very appreciative to your teacher because they made our teacher. Yes.
Yeah, I without my teacher, especially Vedanta, wouldn't have been to the state what it is today. I can beat a Vedantin if I get a chance in his own game with Vedanta or in yoga. These two things, he made nice explanations. Anyway, all credit to my teacher. It always remains. Without him, I wouldn't have been anything.
Maybe if your teacher helped you to become an anagami, right? To come to this path as well.
I was already on that path and he knew that I'm on that path. So he didn't confuse me at all, Anusha. He was very frank and honest in saying, why is he helping me? And he just wanted to move to the next level. He had time. He thought to be the right person to get an imparting or transmission, like what Ariu says. He transmitted all the knowledge he had me. That gift, what he has given me, is immeasurable. And nothing in this world can fill it up. No amount of money or position or power or whatever can get me that. It's amazing. But that does not interfere with what I'm doing. That's even more amazing. I have no confusion at all. Because if somebody gets like this, they will get confused or they will start adding this and that and all that. Never it has happened. And never will it ever happen. So that was the strength of the teacher. So Anusha, did I answer?
Yes. Yes, Vilasji, you did. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So I know exactly what is possible in Vedanta and what is not possible in Vedanta or in yoga or in Tantra, all the three of them.
I have to drop Vilasji. I'll come on Monday then.
Yes, even I have to
Once-
drop. Yeah, Tarvan Sarnai to everyone. And see you. And should we end for today? Long time. Okay, good day, everyone. Then, Bobby, good day to you. Or good afternoon.